at superannuation in Australia today. I'm going to talk to you today about trauma insurance, what it is, why you might need it, and some of the features and benefits of it. So let's start with what is trauma insurance. Trauma insurance is a lump sum benefit payment to you in the event of a trauma event. Now, what's a trauma event? Let's say, for example, you get cancer and you have to go and have surgery and chemo and all those sorts of things. That's classified as a trauma event. What if you're in a serious car accident and you're in a coma for 30 days? That's a trauma event. You will then receive a lump sum payment for whatever you're insured for. Let's say you have a $50,000 trauma insurance policy. You would get that $50,000 and that would help pay for some of the costs. Typically, the average person has a $150,000 trauma insurance policy. Why $150,000? Mainly because $100,000 usually goes towards paying for treatment. So you can afford the best doctors, get the treatment early on, maybe even go in a private hospital instead of having to go public and on their waiting list. And the $50,000 covers things like immediate care, immediate income that you might need, paying for modifications to the home if you need it, hiring medical equipment so you can be at home instead of being in a hospital, all those sorts of things. That's what trauma insurance can be used for. When you get your lump sum payment, if you wanted to use it on other things such as your kids' education, you can. But usually, if you're getting a lump sum payment because you're going for a trauma event, you will need to use that for yourself because you weren't expecting that expense. And a lot of people don't just have money just sitting in a bank account waiting for the one day that something may or may not happen. That's why there's trauma insurance. So that way, one day, if something does happen, you could be paid out a lump sum benefit that can be used for unexpected medical or lifestyle expenses because of this trauma event. The reason why trauma insurance cannot be held inside of super is because the condition of release for the trust deed for the superannuation fund states that a condition of release is you either reach your preservation age, you're totally and permanently disabled, or you're dead. So, trauma insurance, you're not necessarily permanently disabled, you're not dead, and it doesn't necessarily mean you've reached your preservation age. So that's why trauma insurance must be held outside of super. You can also have double trauma insurance. What's double trauma insurance? It means that let's say you had breast cancer and you claimed on your trauma insurance policy and you got your $150,000 payout. If you have trauma reinstatement, they will reinstate your trauma insurance. And if you have another claim, let's say you got, unfortunately, cancer on the brain and it was unrelated to the breast cancer, then they would pay out again. So effectively, your policy could be worth the $300,000 if you had a $150,000 trauma reinstatement policy. It does cost a little bit more, but if you're unlucky enough to get a trauma event one time, you may be unlucky enough to get a second one. But we don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get ill. Plenty of healthy people, unfortunately, get cancer. So why not have this policy? A lot of the time, it only costs a couple of $100s a year, which you can pay monthly. So you can spread that cost out over 12 months. So it may only be $50 a month. It may only be $50 a month. So isn't that worth insuring your life in case something does happen so you don't have to worry about refinancing the home to find money to pay for your treatment? If you would like more information on trauma insurance or other insurances, please see my other blogs or contact me. You can contact me via phone or email.